Welcome everyone to another Chlorine King vlog. I have a special guest today, my beautiful wife Savannah, and we're going to talk about the topic today. Basically, is going to be, I could sit here and talk about how wonderful the industry is and how fruitful it is and all that stuff, but I want her to talk about, some stuff she sees, how I've changed throughout being a business owner, not only as a business but as a person. So, but before we start talking about that and getting the meat and potatoes, I do want to say how important it is when you have a family or significant other, how it's super important for them to be supportive. She's been my rock, and she's allowed me to be successful and allowed me to do my thing. So, for all the wives and significant others or husbands out there that are sitting in the position ready to support the person wanting to start a whole business, definitely be supportive. It'll make that person perform a lot better and make their business successful. So, why don't you talk about how you've seen me change throughout the years, some stuff that you've noticed in any ways since I've started the whole business?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Happy to be your sidekick.
You are my sidekick.
No, it's been a really great experience to watch him, take this business into his own and really just create something that's really well known in the industry now. And when you go from working for someone else, and you may not always work as hard because it's not your name on the line or your business out there, and to really just take a handle of something that you see a great opportunity in the industry and build the company up from start, doing it the right way and building the right name for yourself and really getting to know what your clients need and really just taking that ownership and every day getting out there and doing what you do best and putting forth all the effort. It's really great to see that change and that growth in someone, especially when you care so much about them.
Absolutely. So what are some things you've seen me change as a person? Like, I know there's something that I changed before I even started the business that I want to see if she actually gets, but what are some things you've seen me change and progress and go through since I've started?
Yeah, well, I think the funniest part to me is he always says, he hates to be hot and out in the sun, and now he started a business where he's outside all day. But no, he really loves what he does and getting up and getting out and making the clients happy. But I think the answer he might be looking for is the fact that he'd stay up late and roll out of bed about 8:30, 9 o'clock to get to work where he was before, and now his internal clock, he's up no later than 7 every day and out getting to work and spends that day out in the hot sun, but comes home and just really loves what he does and the difference he can make in people's pools, and to see them enjoy it, whether it's with their kids or families and birthday parties, and just know that he's helping make all that happen for him. It's really exciting to see, and he's definitely grown and had some changes in his time.
Now, what are some hurdles you've seen me go through? I mean, I could call a couple off the top of my head, but I remember times where I'd come in the bathroom floor and just sit on the ground like, I don't know what I got myself into. So what are some hurdles you've seen me as a business owner overcome, and how have you played a part in all of it?
I think the biggest part would be to build the business the right way. So you got to look at all the different licenses you have to have, all the different places you have to register, and there's no simple checklist to make sure that you get all of that done. And you might think you've done everything you need, and then you talk to someone else and they're like, well, did you do this? And then you just worry that maybe there's more out there that you didn't get. So just trying to be on top of the business side, the paperwork and management side of it, more so than the actual service itself, and making sure all that's in line like it should be. And then building the name properly, simple things like getting a uniform to look clean cut and a nice wrap on the truck versus just an old beat up, rusted out, truck that you drive from house to house in, or no shirt on, or, just things that your customers don't want to see. Just being out there and looking professional and taking it step by step, day by day, and every client you have, learning from them. And knowing too that you're going to do everything you can to make your clients happy, but sometimes you just won't please them, and it's hard to accept it, and you don't want to accept it. But if you go out there knowing that you did everything that you can do and you gave it your all, I mean, you really can't ask for anything more. And I think that's where it's important in my position to help play that role of, when you do get down, you just need that person to help pick you up. And like I said, if you know you did all that you can do, then you have to move on and keep doing what you do for the 99% of the other people that you do make really happy and make a difference for.
That's a good answer. So, yeah, I mean, she's been an integral part in my success. She's seen me do things after hours, as far as getting the business, prepped up online and all that. So talk about that. What are some things that, you know, obviously I start the day, clean my pools, I come home and I check out and cleaning pools, but what are some stuff that you see me do, you know, as an expected business owner to do after hours?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much more to any kind of business. So in this case, we're talking about pools. I mean, it's more than just going out there and cleaning the pools. There's a lot of research involved in knowing what's the new thing, what's the best thing. If you're talking to your customers about equipment, you know, I mean, you have to know that equipment inside out. You spend time doing research and studying all of that. And then more of the business side too of, you know, managing your books, and you have to get schedules ready for the next day. And then, I mean, a website itself and just managing your site and SEO work to make sure your name is coming up and populating and doing the best you can with that. And the time to take with all these videos and blogs, I mean, all of it helps put your name out there, and you want to be seen as a professional in the business, and without doing all of that side of the work. You know, anybody could go out there and pick up a net and clean pools, but it's the knowledge and the way you present yourself out there that really sets you apart from all the others. And I think that's what you really focused on to make yourself known in the industry.
Yeah, and she made a really good point in the beginning. She said, you know, to start it off right, and that's something she really, not that I wouldn't have started it right myself, but she really emphasized on, hey, Eric, you really need to start on this, do it right. You know, I think it was even her idea to not accept clients right away, wasn't it? You know, get all the back end stuff done, you know, like my CPO certification, get all the registrations with, because in Florida anyways, you got to register with each town you plan on doing business with, basically wait for them to get money. But anyways, you know, take all those necessary steps so when you go out and start servicing these pools, you're not worried about, oh man, I got to build my site, or hey, I got to do all this, you know. So, you know, she really hinted on that, and I followed through with that. And I probably wouldn't have done it to the degree I did it if I didn't have her support me and tell me to do that. So, you know, Hannah, how many hours would you think, if you had to put it into, you know, an average ballpark, how many hours do you think I spend outside of cleaning pools each day working on the business? So for people wanting to start the business can sort of gather how much extra time you're putting in besides just cleaning pools. Yeah,
I mean, gosh, I haven't really put it all together, but there's many times, let's just say I bought him another cell phone to try to help him separate.
She did.
But he's failed to use it.
That cell phone's actually at the house right now, not being used.
I mean, I would say probably at minimum 30 hours. I mean, several hours a day. A couple hours before he goes out for pools in the morning, and then definitely 5 to 6 hours, you know, when he gets home after that. And actually 30 is probably not even enough. It's probably more like 40 to 50 on top of the pools. It's, you know, plus when it's your own business and you take so much pride in it, it's hard to separate. But it is important. You have to make sure that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely true, and it was definitely 40 or 50 hours extra when I was first started building my site, because, you know, we all could hire, you know, companies to do the sites for us and everything, but I did everything myself, all the SEO work. So I mean, I spent you know, my weekends in the very beginning were tied up building my site, and I mean, now that I got that out of the way, it's calmed down a lot, but I'm still spending at least an hour in the morning answering emails before I go start my day. And then I answer emails throughout the day, phone calls, you know, etc. And then at the end of the day, I come home and answer more emails. So I mean, 30 hours is definitely a respectable number that you can expect once you start getting busy and everything, and you can very expect to put in more in the beginning when you're trying to get everything going. So
I think to add to that too, if you think about most people, they're working during the day. So you're either getting phone calls or emails early in the morning, or you're going to start getting them after, you know, 5 o'clock when people's work days come to an end. I mean, there's many times at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, he's getting phone calls or emails, whether it's a new client or a current client that has an issue or a question. I mean, it's really almost a 24/7 business that you have to be prepared for, but also it's up to you to manage that time and choose when to end your day, because if not, it can consume you.
Hence the new cell phone that's sitting there not being used.
Yeah.
So, hon, what would you say to, you know, the significant other, as we talk about it could possibly be a 24/7 business, saying, you know, what they can expect and maybe when they should just allow them to do their thing and not necessarily, you know, because I have people in the industry that say their wives or husbands don't allow them to really pursue it, like they got to start and stop at a certain time. Like, how would you respond to that? Because you've been really awesome with that, just letting me do my thing, you know. So, how would you respond to, you know,
Well, like you said, back to the starting the business up right. I mean, I remember the conversations that we had, and I told him I'm all in and will support whatever decision he makes, but I also want to see him do it right. So, I mean, to me in the beginning, I probably would have been more upset if he didn't spend as much time as he did, because I want to know that he's getting all of the legality side and the research done that he needs to do the business right. So get all that done, and then as you develop more into the business and get your daily routines, and whether you're hiring staff or doing it all on your own, you kind of build that routine, and then you can cut back a little bit. I mean, he's built this amazing business that he now has people that want to, franchise him or do what he's doing or get their help in starting a business. But I think the important part is knowing that it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and the business is only going to be what you put into it. So if you give somebody limitations, you're limiting what they're going to do. And I really, if you're in it together, then you need to allow them to do what they need to put that time in. And I mean, it's a two-way street. I have my own career that I want to grow in, and he respects the amount of time I put in at work or the phone calls that I get late at night. And it really is a two-way street there. And building your own business is something that you can make as much money or as little money as you want, or become as big a name or as little name as you want. But it's all in the effort that you put in there. So I don't suggest giving someone limitations. Now, you can help hint if they do need to take a break. That's a little bit different.
Which she's done several times, believe me.
There's times you just have to call it a day, or take a day to yourself. But I think that's a little bit different than saying, okay, every day at 5 o'clock, you have to stop. But just knowing, don't let the work consume you. But at the same time, it's okay to put in a good amount of hours. So.
Yeah, I agree with that, and to play off that, and to give you a situation that I'm talking about, they'll remain nameless, but this person's wife literally argues with him if he works past 6 p.m., and sometimes, especially in the summertime with the sunlight out longer, now it doesn't get dark till 8:30 now, you're still going to get calls, you're still going to have long days, and now that we're in season, we're going to be adding more clients, right? So we're going to be busier and busier, and for me, if I had that type of limitation, I probably wouldn't be married to her, because that, again, like she said, if you're putting limitation on it, you're limiting what they can do. And if you're in it to go 100% and you give it your all, you can't sit there and have a limitation like that. You're just not going to succeed, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and two, that one client whose phone call you don't answer, I mean, that could be a job that could lead you into a whole new neighborhood. Or it could be someone that has a massive repair that needs to be done, who could be the community leader for the development they live in, and next thing you know, you could be their go-to for everybody in there. So I mean, you never know what could be on the end of that phone call or on the end of that email. So I mean, it's hard when you do limit someone. I mean, one limitation can make a huge impact in a business. And
to play even further off what she just said, so that one phone call that I decided to answer could have left the review citing something specifically that I did wonderfully. Someone else comes along and reads that's a community leader or what have you, and it just spring-loads me into a whole new realm of the business because I answered one phone call. And so that's something where you got to really be attentive to phone calls and taking care of them. But again, to stem back to her, if she gave me that limitation, I might have missed that call that would have paid for 10 years of vacations down the road. You know what I mean? So it's very important to have a supporting significant other, and she's been absolutely wonderful. But one last question I have is, are there any sacrifices you felt you've made through all this process? And be 100% honest so people can understand, since I've started the business, is there anything that you've maybe set aside or given up or anything like that?
I mean, honestly, there's really not. I mean, I love seeing, I'm a workaholic myself, so that probably makes a little bit of a difference, but
sure.
I love seeing something be developed and just seeing the initial thought of, I think I'm going to start a business, and the next thing you know, an LLC is created, and then from there it's just grown, unbelievably. And I, when I get a day off, since our days are never the same, I like to tag along, and then I get to learn too and help with a pump install, or if he's just cleaning pools that day and not doing repairs, I'll help do a little bit of work and clean the pools and skim it or vacuum while he's testing the water. No, free labor is what it is.
Well, right now, yeah, I can't afford to pay you, but...
But no, I mean, it's all in what you make it, and I mean, for me, I mean, I love the outdoors too, so when I get a day off, it's fun to go tag along, even if it's just for part of the day or the whole day. But I mean, I really don't feel like I've given anything up, because if anything, we've gained more, and I've gotten to see him grow his own business, and now to hear him, I mean, just before we started this, getting a phone call from a friend with some advice, and, you know, hey, this is what's going on in the pool, what should I do, or this is my client's issue, you know, how do you think I should handle it? And I mean, it's just great seeing that growth from the time when he was the one making that phone call of, hey, what do I do, and how do I do this, and now to see the impact he's made in the industry, and he's made a lot of great connections with different vendors and become almost experts in their equipment and all the different things they have to offer. So I mean, honestly, if you're looking at what you've given up, you know, you're not having the right outlook on it, and you really need to look more at what you've gained from it all. So.
Great answer. You know, she's absolutely right. I was just telling her today, you know, earlier in the morning, I really feel like I'm starting to get back now. I'm starting to get a lot of interaction with people I've never even met, and that's just a really cool feeling. So, you know, if you do everything correctly and have the support of a loved one, or significant other, your family, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, you can really achieve anything you want in this industry. And if anyone's on the fence about, you know, the whole point of this video is to maybe target the people that are sitting there really discussing starting a pool business as a family, because it's not just me starting the business. She's dragged into it too, you know.
And you got to make it fun. I mean, you got to do it together. I mean, yes, it might be his business, but really, I mean, it takes the both of us to, you know, to get through it and to build it and to support.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. She may not be cleaning pools, she may not be doing repairs all the time with me, but she's doing stuff on the back end that maybe I either don't feel like doing because I'm tired, or just don't, you know, feel the need to do anymore. So she's picking up the back end stuff, like some household stuff like laundry. Hate laundry, but she does it because I don't want to do it. So I mean, she gives me clean clothes each day. So, you know, I know that's a small example, but you know, there's a lot more there when you're dealing with a family. So what would you say to a family that, you know, is looking to possibly get in the pool business and wondering what they're going to have to do to make it work?
Yeah. I'd say number one is going to be the support. And if you have someone who wants to do it, then the drive is there. So it's just a matter of you supporting that person and going through the journey with them. You know, talking to them about the day, where are you at, how's it going, and if you are able to, do what you can to help them. But really just having that love and support. And then I think second to that would be to do it the right way. Start from the very beginning, start from scratch, and just make sure you're really building that business the right way. Don't just get out there and start cleaning pools. You know, make sure you really know what you're doing and you're learning, you know, the different chemicals and techniques or ways to do things, and really just make sure you're doing it right, because if you do want to grow and really make something of the business, that's what's going to make you stand out from the others. And I mean, something as simple as having a uniform for yourself or your staff. I mean, I'll never forget walking up to a house with him, and we're both in a uniform, and the first comment the person made was, wow, like, you guys really look great. I love the uniform. And they noticed the wrap on the truck. And I mean, it's something as simple as that. That's really a minimal cost. You know, you go buy a dozen shirts or so, and I mean, that alone made us stand out to this person from anyone else I've ever had before. So
yeah. So that's basically it. You know, thanks for tuning in. And yes, we are wearing the same shirts from our Savage Race. Woo-woo. But stay tuned, like and subscribe, and look forward to talking to you guys in the future. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Bye.
And good luck to anybody out there that wants to start a business. So
yes, definitely. And
he'll always help you out if you give him a call.
we'll be around to help. So take care, everyone, and have a good day.